Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and these are bum puzzles. They're actually not bum puzzles, they're actually St. Patrick's Day gnomes that I printed off from a digital collection from Bum Puzzle Boutiques on Etsy. But I've also made a project using the gnomes and some papers from Bum Puzzle Boutiques paper collection. So here's some of the paper. Yeah, I don't have that much left. But anyhow, I'll link everything in the description box. Let me move these cute little guys aside and show you what I made. So this, I used a tutorial that I found on YouTube from Paper Crafter 45. And it opens like that and like that. And I put some Bum Puzzle gnomes here in the pockets. And in the side, I've made some envelopes and some note cards. So some note cards fit. These are 3x3 note cards. And these envelopes are about 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. And I just used, you can see that's more Bum Puzzle Boutique paper. I just made some envelopes with the paper. But really pretty, adorable, lots of fun. This is 1/2 inch tall, and I wanted to make another one, and I made this one 3/8 of an inch tall, and this one I will give you the tutorial. I'll show you right after I show you what this is. Let's move our friends out of the way. You guys can still watch, but don't, there, you can watch. How's that? So we have on the front one of the Bum Puzzles. He is holding a balloon and a shamrock. There are some clovers coming out of some pots. What are kettles? What are those? Anyhow, so I used Velcro on this. On that one I used a magnet, but I used Velcro here. We've got more of that motif. We've got some more of the shamrocks. And then we open it up and you see, so I've changed things around. Where I had on the right side, I had this open box. I made a box with a flap and put that in the center. Just wanted everything to stay closed, although I did put some Velcro there to make sure it stays closed. And then here we've got a Bum Puzzle that's got some gems. We've got one that's got stickers. And this one has some washi tape and some tinsel in gold and green. So those are in the pockets. Now what's in these pockets? Can it get any better than that? Yes. There are 3 of these Andes candies. The Andes mints. 3 fit in here perfectly. And in this one, 3 gold coins, chocolate coins, fit into that pocket. I just thought that would be nice to send in Happy Mail. So there is that. I'll put these guys away, but let me show you how to make this. Oh, let me show you the back first. So there's that, and there's that. Nothing fancy on it, but just something cute and quick to make. All right, let me make it. Let's make it together. I'll show you how. I'm going to read the measurements to you. So the cardstock base is 11 by 7. You'll need 2 pieces for the pockets that are 3 3/4 by 7 3/4, and you'll need 2 pocket add-ons for the pocket backer that's 3 1/8 by 6 3/8. For the bottom pocket, you'll need a piece that is 4 1/4 by 2 1/2, and for the 2 top pockets, you'll need a piece that's 4 1/4 by 2. Let's start scoring. Okay, so the large piece of cardstock with the 11 inside at the top score at 3 1/4, 3 5/8, 7 1/4, and 7 5/8. Burnish on those 4 fold lines, and then the smaller flap, the flap that's far to the left, I'm going to take an edge punch and just punch a little scallop on there. It's not necessary, but I just wanted to add something. You could always add a little piece of lace or some more decorative paper or a sticker there, so you don't have to use an edge punch. Anyhow, so that's done. Now we're going to work on the pockets for the side. So you'll have your 3 pieces of paper that are 2.5 inches long. I'm sorry, that are 4.25 inches long. With the 4.25 inch side at the top, score it at 1/2 inch, rotate around completely, score it another 1/2 inch. The one that is 2.5, you're going to score with the short side at the top. So that'll be scored on 3 sides. The other ones will be scored on 2. So I'm taking some paper and putting it on these pockets so I can adhere it. The paper is 1 7/8 by 3 1/8, all, well, for 3 of them. And then when I'm done, I'm going to add a piece that is 3 1/8 wide by about 3.5 inches long, just to cover the back. I am using some ink here. I mean, the green, it didn't make a difference, but anyhow, that is what I'm doing here. And then after I put the paper on the pockets, I am going to use a circle tab and make a notch in the pockets. You don't have to do that, but I decided to. So I'm doing something a little different. I am going to stack them all and put one on top of another. I'll show you. But first I'm trying to find the center of the pockets here so I can use that corner rounder. And I'm doing it on both pieces, the cardstock and the pattern paper at the same time. So anyhow, taking my time to make sure I find the center and making a little note and using my little notcher, and we're good to go. Okay. Okie dokie. All right, and then of course with that larger one, of course you see that the pattern paper doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, but that's okay. All right, fold and burnish on the score lines, and then I'm adding the ones on top of each other and really burnishing the heck out of it just to keep them all straight. It all flattens out by the time we're done, but I want to make sure that that little notch thing doesn't show, so I have to adjust it and move them down just a little bit. So there is just about 1.25 inches of the pocket showing. Now if you didn't do the notching, you probably can make them a little bigger. But here is this inside piece, the pocket backer that's 3 1/8 by 6 3/8. I'm putting that in and then putting the bottom tab, just trying to make sure it's even side to side, and glue it all down, and I'm burnishing the heck out of this. Yeah, you notice I used a couple of different greens. I just used scraps from my stash of greens. Okay, so we've got that, and now I'm actually looking at my scraps to cut a piece. So it was supposed to go in the inside, but it's not. It's going to go on the side. I changed my mind. So there is that one piece again that's 3 1/8 by about 3 1/2. I'm going to glue this whole piece down, and I'm going to put it on the right-hand side. Yeah, see, now you can see where there's the 2 greens and why that could be a problem, but it's not a big deal because we were intending on covering it anyhow with the pattern paper. So I stick that in the pocket, put it so there's about a 1/16 of an inch border, and that is done. All right, let's work on these other pockets. So I'm going to put the long side at the top and score at 2, and then at 2 1/4, and then rotate it completely around, score it at 2 and 2 1/4. And with the short side at the top, I'm just going to score it at 1/2 inch and then 3/4. I'm just making sure it's all done. And then I'm going to have to trim it. So I'm mitering those big long flaps on the side. I'm cutting on that second score line. Just look at, I'll show you, I'll put it down flat and I'll show you what it looks like. The sort of looks like stairs, you know, it goes up. And I just miter them all. I don't know if it was necessary to have it mitered at the side, but I did it. And then burnish everything. I have these pieces, so that is about 3/8 of an inch. So I have these small pieces that are about 5/16 of an inch by 3 1/8, or by 2 7/8. So I cut multiples of all of it, and it's easier to put the paper on before you fold it. I, on one of them, put the paper on the front and then tried to fold it. I mean, I folded it first, then put the paper on the front. It's just easier if you have the paper on the front. And then, even though you don't really see all of this, I just felt like it was necessary to cover it, because you never know what you're going to see. All right, now I'm gluing that all together and using my bone folder, reaching inside to burnish. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, this is when I should have covered it with the paper first. So I do one correctly and one incorrectly. Do as I say, not as I do. The decorative paper is 3 1/8 tall by 2 7/8 wide. 2 7/8 by 3 1/8. And I, of course, used these hats just because they were gorgeous and I had 2 of them, and why not? So I'm burnishing this, and then I start to put it together, and then, oh, I already added the piece, so we're good. Okay. All right, and then add more glue. Now we're going to take these add-ons, which are really the flaps for those pockets. With the 1 1/2 inch side at the top, you're going to score it at 1/2 and at 3/4. Do that for both of them. Then we're going to round that 1/2 inch flap. That is going to be the flap that's going to go over the pocket. And I'm adding little strips of paper. So of course that is 3 1/4. So you're going to make it 3/8 by, oh my goodness, 3/16. And it's going to be smaller than 1/4 inch. And then the flaps, I have pieces that are 3/8 by 3 1/8. So you have 4 of each of those. 2 for each one, front and back. And of course you round the corners if you want to. I mean, you don't have to. So anyhow, gonna add glue, add these strips on, add these onto the flaps, and then put them all on. Burnish, and burnish on the fold lines. Okay, fits nicely. I thought, okay, let's add the glue to the back. Well, that wasn't the best thing. See, it just doesn't work. So anyhow, I burnish, I get it in good. I got smart here. I'm adding glue to the bottom and putting it inside the pocket, and as opposed to underneath it. You know what I mean. All right, so now I'm measuring to see how much room I have. I have some paper cut already to fit. I'm not giving the measurements for the decorative paper. Just make it 1/4 inch smaller than your opening if you want a smaller gap. And again, this paper was gorgeous. It was from Bumfuzzle Boutique. I am going to put those hats down at some point, but also I have to fill in all of the gussets. So the little pieces that I cut are going to be 3/8 wide by 7 7/8 tall. So I love this Fiskars cutting machine because it cuts so nice and straight. So anyhow, I'm cutting those all and I'm going to put them on. I don't know why, but I like having stripes whenever I'm doing gussets. I just think it's artistically pleasing to the eye in my book, but you can do what you want. I'm adding the little strips to the back. And again, it makes more sense to decorate the back of it, the front and back, before you add any of the dimensional elements. So that's what I'm doing here. loved these with the, what are those? Barrels? Crates? I know someone's going to tell me what the word is, and I'm going to be like, oh, of course. They're cauldrons for Halloween. Are they still cauldrons for St. Patrick's Day? I was going to get some just to do for photographs for my bumfuzzle gnomes. All right, now to add these pockets on, I was thinking, I don't know if glue's going to be the best thing. So I have some of the score tape. It's about 1 inch thick. So I'm cutting it 1 inch by maybe 2.5. I'm burnishing now. Sorry, it's off camera. I'll peel it off, then add glue around it just to make sure it stays on. There's going to be about a 1/4 inch gap all around. I put them a little bit closer in the center of the page. They're not touching, but they're close. Okay. And there we go. That's pretty much it. And then just to add these into the pocket, I think I got these from Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. I just cut off the acetate and stapled it on. And this one, I just cut the acetate, and this time I just added some double-sided adhesive and put them on. And this one, I had some green acetate. It's got a green hue to it. And I wrapped the washi tape around it a couple of times and did the same thing and just sort of tucked it into each other just to make it just something nice. If somebody wants to make just a couple little St. Patrick's Day gifts, this would be some good happy mail. So that is what I have for you today. Don't forget to check out Bumfuzzle Boutique on Etsy. I will put that link in the description box, and that's it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have a fabulous day.